Hey guys, Darren Bennett here with AndWorld Design, and today I wanted to go over an effect that I used in the Swamp Thing Winter Special, where I was able to make it look like the radio balloons were sort of disappearing into the background as the storm got more and more intense. A lot of people were asking how I did this, and so I thought I'd demonstrate to you guys how I achieved the effect so that you can use it in your own work. I don't think this has to be used for snow only. I can see this being used for, say, magical effects or explosions and stuff like that. So once you learn how it's done, you can apply it anywhere you see fit. We'll be working in Adobe Illustrator using various color tools and controls. I've got a page set up already with the balloon and dialogue that I'll be using, but you can apply this effect to any shape or balloon style that you want. The first thing I want to do is to create a color swatch of the blue used in the snow. This is going to make it easier for me to apply color adjustments that I'm going to use later. So I'll use the eyedropper tool to select one of these lighter colors on the page and jump into the swatches palette so that I can save this out. Click on the new swatch icon in the lower right, and you'll just enter in some information to name the swatch so that you can keep it for reference later on. I'll just name this Blue Snow. And what I'd recommend doing is to change these percentages to something, more rounded numbers so that you can easily refer to them later on if you need to. This can actually be a 10% cyan. I'll just click OK. So now I should have that saved down here, Blue Snow, inside of my swatches palette. So now I can get to business. What I want to do is to have the balloon gradually fade into white. So I'm going to start off with a smaller transition from the black into the blue that we just created. To do that, I'm going to want to add a gradient to the stroke of the balloon. Now in Adobe CC, you can apply gradients directly to strokes, but what that forces you to do is to use the gradient palette in order to manipulate the effect and make adjustments inside of here. I prefer to make it behave like a fill so that I can do a little more hands-on freeform adjusting, clicking and dragging and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is expand the stroke so that it behaves more like a fill object. To do that, just select the balloon shape, go to Object, and click on Expand. Once you're in here, just make sure that the stroke is ticked off and hit OK. Now I should be able to select the stroke itself, and you can see that it is behaving more like a fill, where I can go into the gradient palette and click on gradient, and now I can click and drag to control this a little better. Now, as I mentioned, I don't want it fading directly into the white, so what I'll do is to change this white into the blue that I created. So double click on that in the gradient slider and just select the blue swatch that we just created, the Blue Snow. And so now, instead of that direct white, we have it fading into this blue. And you can just click and drag as you need so that the transition isn't as harsh or it's more subtle for what you need it to be. Alright, so to make it blend in a little better, I'm going to want to add flurries on top of the balloon as well. I'll change the layer and add my flurries on there. I have a custom brush that I use to make this effect, but you can just repeat like small oval shapes to create the effect on your own. You're just going to want to randomize them so that it mimics the flurries on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and select my brush and just brush out a couple shapes here. And so that I can manipulate them, I'm going to do the same thing, expand these a bit, make them smaller. Just squash them so that they mimic that same shape. I have them in black so that we can see what's going on. And what I want to do is use the direct selection tool in order to select some of these shapes so that I don't want them covering up any necessary text so that the reader can still make out what's going on. You just want to, again, randomize them for your own needs. Just have them sort of mimic what's on the page already. Once we have a good shape in mind, I'm just going to change these to white to see what's going on. And there, I feel like we're not covering up too much. It's as subtle as I need it. And one more thing that I can do is on this bottom we see some of these other colors coming in. So I'm just going to copy and paste behind. You can do that inside of the edit menu. Paste and back is Command B. And I just offset that with that in place. I'll just eyedrop one of these shapes here, one of these colors here, and make sure that we have some different colors going on there. So that's the general idea of it. To continue blending into the later panels, what I did was repeat the same steps, adjusting the gradient from the blue then into the white. So if you guys have any questions as to how to continue this effect, or if anything was unclear, please feel free to ask or comment below. Yep. So I'll see you in the next demo.